There really is no way to completely prepare yourself for spaceflight. You can practice in simulators, study, talk to your fellow astronauts who have been there and done that. But in the end, it's impossible to prepare yourself emotionally for what is about to happen when the rocket lights and you get launched off the planet in a trail of fire. And then someone turns off the motors, and therefore gravity, and you feel like you're falling because you are falling. Given this, the most important preparation I did before my first spaceflight was flying high-performance jets. Aviation is simply the closest analog we have down here on Earth to prepare astronauts for the rigors of spaceflight. It's not because of the stick and rudder skills of landing or doing aerial acrobatics or flying in formation. It's because of the mental aspects of flying, maintaining situational awareness, staying calm under pressure, making sound decisions in time-critical scenarios, staying ahead of the jet mentally, and anticipating several maneuvers into the future, all while zooming along at 500 miles per hour, gas level falling by the minute, with thunderstorms bearing down on your landing airfield. The ability to do all of these things and remain calm while your pink body, the Air Force jargon for any pilot, is on the line is the most important skill any astronaut has. It's a skill that can't be taught in a simulator, where there are no real-world consequences. Fast jets are simply the best way for astronauts to hone their steely-eyed fighter pilot qualities. I began my military career flying the T-37 and then the T-38 Talon, the Air Force's basic and advanced jet trainers, before going on to fly the F-16 Viper for 10 years. So when I got to NASA, flying the T-38 again was like riding a bike, even though it had been a decade since I first flew the T-38 in pilot training. But for some of my colleagues who only had a small amount of time in light aircraft, the T-38 was a huge step up. NASA threw them to the wolves, teaching them the basics of airmanship in the supersonic T-38, a trial by fire. Thankfully, they now send newly hired non-pilot astronauts through an abbreviated military training program in the T-6, a basic turboprop training aircraft that is much slower than a T-38, where they learn the basics of airmanship and flying. These astronauts will never be T-38 aircraft commanders. They will always fly in the rear cockpit as supporting aircrew. But they play a crucial role, working with the pilot in the front cockpit to fly their missions successfully, and most importantly, training to get ready for spaceflight. There are a few important skills for new crew members to learn. First and paramount is to sound cool on the radio. There really is nothing worse than someone sounding confused or scared or babbling on and on when they try to call the tower for permission to take off. The best advice I gave the new guys was to always sound slightly annoyed that you have to be bothered to even key the microphone to talk. You don't want to sound arrogant or like a total jerk, but you need to have a, okay, I've got better things to do and let's get on with it, tone. Years later, a Hollywood producer gave me the same advice when I was narrating a film. He told me that I sounded too relaxed and that I needed to be annoyed to sound more cool. Also, new aircrew need to rehearse in their mind what they're going to say before keying the mic to talk. Clear and concise, with a touch of annoyed, is a good formula for success when talking on the radio. In the fighter community, we used to joke that if we were about to crash, we would have to sound good right up until impact. After all, we had a reputation to uphold.